Okay, this thing should be live, I think. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, on YouTube, there is no staging. Uh-oh. Test is testing, yes. Alright, so vocalization of the chat doesn't work, which is sad. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. But unfortunately, on YouTube, there is, when you start streaming, there is no staging setup where you can, like, before you actually go live, so they can check that everything is working and then say, okay, everything is good, we go. But what we are doing today is, let me turn that off. Turn that off. Alright, there we are. We are integrating this INTRA, which is tactical reconnaissance analysis. It is an endpoint that provides information about things like pirate massacre missions. So you can pass the coordinates where you're at and get some results back with pairs of mission providers that they call shop and battlefields that they call arena. So shop is the system where you go to pick up missions to pew some pirates, and hopefully maybe you can stack them to maximize the profits. And arena is the battlefield. And mostly we are interested in the ones that have hazardous resource sites or some resource sites. Those seems to be the most profitable. The traditional way to do this is you go to INTRA, you type in your current location, you go to miscellaneous, type your current location, you select massacre missions, and you look for something like this. For example, it's got hazardous resource sites. This is the, let me zoom in on that. This is a target faction, Brotherhood of Cremata, and Cremata has Hazres, where you can pew some pirates, and these are the systems that have factions that give missions against these guys. So you can stack them, and thus when you do one kill, it counts against all the missions that you get from the mission providers. It's called missions. It's called pirate mission, pirate massacres, stacking, whatever. Anyhow, so of course we can just rip off the VR headset, go to the trusty industry standard in our site, find our locations, and then go and collect missions. But I want to embed that functionality in the software that I'm writing. And because I cannot query INTRA does not have API for querying, does not return JSON. And the only way you can really query it if you do a post and then scrape HTML. But scraping HTML is a bad way of integrating things, because the owner of the website will change the layout a little bit, changes HTML a little bit, and all your scraping fails. So that's no go. The other service that I dug up is this one. And this is what we are trying today. I brought a client for it that calls this endpoint INIV space INTRA API. It has request response. A request is basically a filter. You can, and I'm using different pattern here. I'm using the with pattern. I'll show you in a moment. But basically you pass a filtering criteria such as where you're starting. That's your galactic coordinates, X, Y, and Z. 0, 0, 0 being the location of Earth. Integer, that is maximum light years distance from that location. With mission provider, minimum factions. So how many factions do you want to have? Minimum provided missions, which is one, at least one. You need at least one. With mission provider, highest distance from entry. Basically, it means if there is a hazardous resource site in the same system where the mission provider is at, which in my experience is exceedingly rare. Usually a mission provider gives you a mission to another star system, go and pew pirates over there. So with, therefore, we'll be using with arena hazardous resource distance from entry in light seconds. This is how far you go to, once you jump into the star system, how far do you go to pew pew the pirates. If it's 250,000 light seconds, you might not want that, because if you're flying, for example, Anaconda, good luck. Flying 250,000 light seconds from the entry point, it'll be too far, so that is the limitation. And then it provides response. The response, if OK equals 1 means everything is good. If OK equals 0 means everything is bad. The thing that we're interested in is this pair. Pair is the mission provider versus the battlefield. And this is my test class. I do not have this thing hooked up into LLM yet, so basically it's just a plain main. We can just run it. It's going to pick up my current location, hopefully. Where are we? We are in Swait, in Imperial space, because I'm a dirty Imperial. No, at the moment, at any rate. Anyhow, so let's run this thing, and we'll get some data back. Bam, we got some data. So this is what this data looks like. The programmers who wrote this thing are old school, a la 90s graduates who were taught to write everything within 80 characters length. You know, those of you who went to college back in the 90s know exactly what I'm talking about. Your C++ teacher would tell you, never exceed 80 characters length. And now we are working on the widescreen monitors. And at least I subscribe to the view that instead of calling your variables R, C, D, B, you actually describe what they are. So what is R? R means... what does R mean? Reported, I think it means. Integer R means resource sites present status reported via INTRA. So yeah, R is reported, C is confirmed. Let's see, so the shop is in the system Yushun. Other is actual address that is referenced in the EDDN itself, because other data providers have, sometimes they have their own IDs that just kind of unique to the data provider, but this is a universal number, which is good to have. But we actually want this more than anything. Population, who cares? FAC is faction, and all 5 factions in the system supposedly are mission providers. And it does have a hazardous resource site and high resource site, but I seriously doubt that target faction is operating in those hazardous resource sites. Usually it is going to be in whatever is the battlefield, which is arena. Helilang, I cannot pronounce this. I'm not going to bother. That star system is supposedly where we are going to have the battlefield. So before I hook this up into database, and before I hook this up into the whole voice LLM thing for queries like, hey, find me some places to pew pew some pirates, I'm going to fly around and see how good this data is. Another thing I'm curious is that this thing returns, like this mission provider battlefield pair or duplex or tuple, whatever you want to call it, it's a pair really, only returns one system. But if we go here, can we even find it? First of all, let's see. Copy. No, not like this. First of all, I need to grab my current location. How do we do that? We select a star, we click on this button over here to copy it into memory, then we go here, clear that out, bam, wait, search. Hey.
Locate current position first. Confirm ready for calculation or search after securing current location.
I did not say magic word. You're not supposed to hear me. Did it get magic word? Apparently not. I'm just going to stop services for now. There we go. Anyway, where was I pontificating, right? Yes. Okay, so this is the star system. That is our battleground. Let's find it in here. Yes, there it is. So yes, indeed. But if we look closer at this record, we have this Yushun offering missions against this faction right here, which is located in that star system, which has hazardous resource site. But we also have these. And these are gray, while this one is orange. So, what does this mean? What does this color scheme mean? Does this mean that this one for sure has the missions against this faction in that system, and those might have mission providers that match that faction in that system? Not confirmed. I don't know what gray versus orange means, but we're going to fly over here, land at any random port, and see if they have, if this is true. If what this thing returned is true, and we will do this a couple of times, kind of double check this INTRA thing, if the data is sound. And if it is, then I will have to have a good think about of how to store this data. Maybe one row will have like a row ID, then the mission provider star system, battle arena star system, target faction. Actually, this does not return target faction. So this data doesn't return it unless we go there and confirm. Anyhow, I have to kind of drink a couple of gallons of coffee and figure out what it is that I'm going to do with it. But let's do one thing at a time. So we will fly here. And for right now, I'm just going to copy this name and we'll just do all the flying manually. And confirm that this star system indeed has 5 factions that have missions against pirate faction in that system. And if that is indeed true, then we can proceed further. Otherwise, this integration just will not be necessary because it obviously doesn't work. I hope it does. All right.
Good afternoon, Krondor. Route set.
Enter hyperspace. Do I not have my thing running? Oh, let me restart it. I probably got it all confused.
Good afternoon, Krondor.
All right, enter hyperspace.
Frameshift drive charging.
Currently in transit to Yushan, a G-class fuel star. Total traffic recorded, 1,132 vessels. Weekly traffic, 2 ships. Daily traffic, 1 ship. Total fatalities, 87, with no deaths reported this week or today. Ship has arrived at Yushan.
Fuel swapping. Fuel sweeping complete.
Optimize our approach speed.
Docking request denied.
Set speed +1. Enable streaming mode.
Streaming mode is on. Prefix your command with word computer.
I don't see anybody leaving the station.
Docking request denied.
Ah, there it is. There's one leaving 04, so as soon as she's gone, they will let us in.
Docking request granted.
There you go. So the API said 5 functions give missions here. Let's see if that is indeed the case.
Docking Docking successful.
Market
Engines
data
disengaged.
available.
Let's see what we got. So mission board, missions, combat. Okay, this mission is to assassinate a specific pirate. That's not what we're looking for. Blue family faction pirate in that system that I can't pronounce. Blue family, yes. So that is the faction. That checks out. Hang on. These guys. They don't have anything? These guys. Yes, so that's 2 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Oh, this wouldn't have anything because those are the pirates. Okay. Those 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 at this outpost, but there was another outpost in here somewhere. I'm not picking up any, I am just doing reconnaissance. So I suppose I could probably store this data locally. I wonder how often that actually changes. Does that change with the background simulation process?
Engaged.
So for instance, I could find this via API, go here, and once I pick up the missions, update the table with actual faction names for the factions that are mission providers and a faction name that is the target faction, which would allow me to later search local database, see if you have your favorite hunting grounds within range, and then if you don't have hunting grounds within range, call API and see what the crowd data says.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Oh, hold on, that's just a couple of light seconds away, it's really close. Both stations are... within this binary system that 2 planets orbit each other. So theoretically we'll have the representatives of the same factions on these stations as well. Oops! I forgot to push the button to synchronize. Loop of shame, here we come. Oh, they're rolling out the carpet right away. Apparently I'm allied with these factions over here.
Landing gear deployed. Docking Landing successful.
Market data available.
But refueling not available. Alright, let's see what this guy's got. Mission board. Combat. Alright, these guys don't have anything. These guys do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the destination system is this. So let's fly over there and see what it's like. Do they have, do they actually have? Hello, hello.
Route set.
Okay, let's do a reconnaissance and make sure that hazardous resource sites are indeed there.
Landing gear retracted. Ship released. Engines engaged.
Computer, take us to hyperspace.
Frameshift drive charging.
No, it's not really automation. It you can push on some of the keyboard buttons with the software, but Frontier developers
Currently
provide.
traveling to Hyolang.
Hold on.
K-class fuel star. Traffic 1,705 total ships. 1 today. Deaths 89 total. 0 today.
Frontier developers provide API for people like me to tinker
Arrived at
with,
Final destination Hyolang.
Fuels.
and it is JSON based. It's log files with JSON in them, and each JSON line represents an event with a bunch of information in it, and we integrate with it. So there are websites that contain crowdsourced information. There are pieces of software like ED Copilot, for example, which is kind of like the industry standard thing. And I am writing my own an LLM-based Copilot. This thing, the link is in description for the project. It's got a bunch of features in it. I've been doing a lot of stuff for the exploration, so I've been traveling a lot around the galaxy to perfect all the exploration features, and now I'm doing stuff for the bubble. You can plot trade routes with it, and it will guide you from stop to stop to maximize your profits based on the crowdsourced data. You can ask it all kinds of information about the discoveries that you are doing. It can help you navigate to codex entries that you scan from the ship. You know, you come up to a planet, there are life forms, you scan them from the ship because you can see them, but then by the time you find a landing spot, oops, you cannot see you can't see the colony anymore, so it will tell you which bearing you need to go to, which direction you need to go to, and how far it is, that sort of thing. Might help me to play it with Palsy. Computer, how many resource sites do you see in the system? Hold on. It really does not like the streaming mode.
I am listening.
How many resource sites do you see in the system?
Analyzing star system data. Stand by. There are 8 bodies in the Hyolang system with detected resources. Hyolang 1, 2, 3, 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, and 4F. These contain various materials such as iron, nickel, sulfur, carbon.
That's not what I'm
chromium, and
asking.
others. No biosamples are...
How many
Clarify
resource
request
sites do
timeline.
you see? Like hazardous resource sites, hazardous resource sites. How many do you see here?
Request unclear. Specify resource, site type, or location for accurate data.
Enable streaming mode.
Streaming mode is on. Prefix your command with word computer.
So I will need to adjust the query so that it understands specifically what resource side mean, because right now it just understands as resources, meaning like materials, which is I don't understand that. If I am an L11, I don't know anything about the game, and somebody is asking me about resources, I look at the request the star system data, I would look at the materials. Would need to adjust the prompt specifically for stuff like high res, because players understand what high res means, but LLM does not know that. I'll have to explain to it what it is that I mean. That, see that hazardous resource site, this is what I mean. So I'll need to adjust the prompts to actually
Contact
support
lost.
this feature. Computer, disable streaming mode.
I am listening.
Well, let's go and pew some pirates, shall we?
Request unclear. Please clarify the intended action or query regarding pirates or pupils.
In professional mode, you are very uptight, aren't you?
Affirmative. Maintaining strict professionalism ensures mission success and operational efficiency. Dropped from Super Cruise. Threat level 4 detected.
Switch heads-up display to combat mode. Weapons hot.
Contact. Legal target. Leon Zagrebsek. Deadly. Wanted. Bounty. Roughly 400,000 credits.
Turn on the night vision. Divert power to weapons.
Cargo scan detected. Kill confirmed. 609,532 bounty claimed. Contact lost.
Divert power to engines.
Contact. Legal target fiber.
Divert power to weapons.
Kill confirmed. Contact lost. Contact. Legal target Ferdinand Max Rokotensky. Dangerous. Wanted. Bounty. Roughly 900,000 credits.
Power to engines now. Damage report.
Analyzing ship loadout standby. Ship Corsair named Prowler, IDPR 15C. Hull health intact at 100%. All modules at 100% health. Weapons systems operational. Shields boosted and reinforced hulls in place. No damage detected. Kill confirmed. 852,927 bounty claimed.
Enter Super
lost.
Cruise. What hardware are you using for LLM, if you don't mind me asking? This software right now is connected to... Hold on, just a second. I will answer that, just a second.
Acknowledged. Standing by. Voice input disabled.
Right now it is connected to long key. So right now it is connected to OpenAI. You can use XAI. Can you use local LLM? Yes, you can if your name is PewDiePie. Because you would need something more than a basic machine to run it. You would need a machine with quite a few GPUs, because this is not a basic chatbot. This thing is analyzing data. It infers your commands and queries from natural language, which requires some power. So technically, yes, you could use Olama and like a fairly small LLM for it, but the thing is that it's going to reply within about 2 minutes if you do that. So until until then, until I can spend $40,000 on the machine to actually run LLM at home for this, I am using an online LLM from, at the moment, this is from OpenAI, but actually XAI works better, despite what people may or may not think about people who run XAI. It uses small LLMs over there, the cheap ones. I can show you basic breakdown. How much it cost me. github.com. This is my project. It's open source wiki and LLM cost. So these are, let me make it really big. So this is a cost of like one query. It's 0.00006 cents. So you can run 15,000 of them for 1 cent. That will take you some time. You could use a llama, but it's painful to set up. Well, I don't know how painful it is on Windows. On Linux, it's basically a couple of commands. You install a llama, then you pull an LLM, you stick it into to run as a service, and you run it as a service. Problem is, it requires, in order to do the queries that this thing does, you would have to have quite a beefy machine to run it, because you need a response within like a half a second at least. And I ended up going to Amazon because I don't have hardware big enough to run it, and I started spinning a higher and higher and higher and higher LLM machines with GPUs on them, just to see can it be done. Yes, it can, but looking at the machine that I ended up with, I pulled out the handy-dandy calculator, did some mathematics, and figured out that the money that I would have to spend on the hardware, for that money I could pay 435 years using OpenAI. So my payment, and I use this a lot because I'm developing on it, is between $5 and $8 a month. This is like this very heavy usage. The casual player would probably spend about $3 or so a month on all the queries. Uh-oh, somebody is trying to... Somebody pulled me over. Who are you? What do you want? Hey, you're friendly, Imperial Navy. Why did you pull me over? You're my ally.
Scan detected.
You just want to sniff me? Well, I guess I'm not gonna shoot you since you are friendly. I think he's trying to saw it real time, so it needs high TPS tokens per second. To say it real time. Sorry, it's dark in here. I think he's trying to say it real. Yeah, it needs to respond pretty fast. So back to what I was doing, which is, which is integrating with, where is that thing? Which is integrating with this thing. So the good news is this API does return mostly correct data. Yes, indeed, this is a system that has mission providers. No, don't be sorry to distract me. Look, the thing is that when COVID hit, my company abandoned office and we ended up all locked up in the houses. And for all that time, my communication with the rest of the world was done by typing messages in Slack. And it happened so that
Contact lost.
I am kind of still locked up in a house, really, voluntarily or not, and I don't have any reason to speak. And English is my third language, so I realized that actually losing ability to exercise this skill. And spoken language is like any skills. If you don't use it, you lose it. Therefore, when people talk to me on the channel when I stream, it's a good thing for me because I get to exercise English speaking skills, which are lacking right now compared to what they were a couple of years ago. It's just, being locked up in the house is kind of a brain rot, to be honest. I don't have a life, I suppose. So anyhow, so these duplexes of the mission provider system versus the battle arena system is correct. What I don't like about it, and I might have to figure out a programmatic way to solve it somehow without doing too many calls, is to find other systems like this. Like, for example, that one. It did not return via API, and on INTRA it is shown in gray. I wonder if indeed this star system has mission providers. Your English is great, don't be so hard on yourself. It used to be better, really. I watched a couple of times my own VODs back and cringe. Really, it is. But the only way to get over the hump, so to speak, is to keep doing it, keep talking to people. Bastanian is the system. Let's go to Bastanian and see if they have mission providers against those dudes. And then I wouldn't be able to do this on stream because I'll have to do some thinking and trying how to scoop out the rest of the information and how to store it locally, so that the feature for asking the software, hey, find me a pirate massacre mission site, or find me a hunting ground for the pirates, and it just returns this and stores it locally and then guides me, all right, fly over there, pick up missions, fly over there, and then go to the hunting ground and pew some pirates and make 250 million credits. Anyhow, let's fly over there and just go to the random port and see if they have something
Route
for
set.
us. Comms check, can you hear me?
Affirmative. Communication is clear. Proceed with your command. Streaming mode is on. Prefix your command with word computer.
So here are the tokens. The cached tokens is 3072. Your first hit is going to, like, first interactions are going to cache up some tokens, so they will be slightly more expensive than the rest of them. And then it's going to start using cache tokens, and your interactions will be super cheap. And then in the end, like, executing command will be 644 tokens, 585 tokens, like in this case. Doing a query, that all depends on how big the query is. Sub looks really awesome. I got to go for now, but awesome job, and your English is fine. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah, you can watch this VOD later. I don't know how long I'll be streaming today. Because I'm in a streaming mode right now, the text-to-speech is still translating all of this, but it's not sending anything to LLM. And let me turn it off.
Voice input disabled.
I'm not sending everything to LLM, because that would eat through lots and lots and lots of tokens. Most of the stuff is actually done in the software. The only thing that LLM does are a few things. One, it takes your mumblings from the microphone, converts it into text, and then sends it into the analyzer to figure out what the hell did you mean. Are you just chatting? Do you want to execute a specific command, or are you asking a question? So it has to reason on that real quick. Once it figures that out, it will either execute command and don't say anything at all, or it will pick up a query from the it's probably easier to just show what it looks like. Like these are queries. This is the enum for us humans to look at in the code, and these are the queries that are exposed to the language model itself. It knows about these things, and it looks for a match. Like if I'm asking, like, how sketchy is the system, for example, it will figure out that I'm looking for security. And then it will execute this command handler, which in turn will go into our local database, pull out the data, and hit the process method, which is in the base query analyzer, saying, all right, this is the instruction on what to do, and this is the data to look at, and this is the user original input. It will use this instruction to answer your question about this data. So that's what's being sent. Otherwise, I'm not sending things to LLM. Like when I'm targeting a ship, for example, it's happening inside the software. It does not need to go out on the internet and analyze it in the LLM of what happened when I target a ship. It knows it from the events that we pick up from the game. The software architecture is modular. Anyone can fork this code and add their own LLM implementation. All they need to do is to implement interfaces. Software figures out which LLM you're using based on the key or lack thereof. If there is no key, it will be using a local LLM implementation if available. Otherwise, it will try to match LLM based on the key pattern. Same for speech-to-text and text-to-speech. The robotic voice that you're hearing right now is local voice processing. It is from the project called Piper. But for more human-like sounding voice, that would be, at the moment, that would be Google speech-to-text. There are a couple of tickets on the project right now to implement Azure. Unfortunately, I'm having a big beef with Microsoft. Surprise, surprise. They cheated me out of my trial period over there, and now they want lots of money for me to develop free software against the system. They're being punks about it, so I'm hoping that if anybody is interested in Azure, they can implement those 2 tickets. They implement the ears and the mouth, which is the speech-to-text and text-to-speech. Speech-to-text uses audio format detector supporting the 48 kilohertz, which is most Linux systems or Windows systems that run external audio interface of the high quality. 44.1 kilohertz, which is kind of the standard for most Windows machines. And if you run in a Boomer Tech 16 kilohertz, of course, it will not work with 192 kilohertz, although I am doing downsampling. Why? Because Google speech-to-text caps at 48 kilohertz. It does not allow higher bit rates than that. Then it has a calibrator, this thingy, that figures out your RMS, root mean square of your wave, the high and the low. And the speech-to-text implementation itself obviously runs in its own thread. And it gates. So there is a gate over there. When we are below the gate, we are not sending anything to process. Because why? There's no point. But then when you clear the gate, when the RMS is higher than the threshold, gate opens, we collect the bytes, we send those bytes for analysis, we get back the text, and when we get back the text, we fire up the event, user input event, and then user input event is caught by whatever LLM client is running at the time in its own thread. So everything is decoupled. The branches of the software are completely decoupled. Integration with the game itself is done via the journal parser, primarily this file. It also runs in its own thread. It goes into the journal directory, which is games journals ls. It's these files over here. It looks for the last updated file, last log file. Kate. Punch it. Yes. Boom. Boom. And this is what the thing looks like. You've got a timestamp, you've got event, and a bunch of data for the event itself, which is one line is one JSON, one event. Obviously, we are not sending every event into LLM. This is stupid because you're just gonna eat up all your tokens over there for no good reason whatsoever. The events themselves are basically JSON wrappers that are wrapped with Google JSON Factory. It has annotation to match whatever the value is in JSON itself and the to the field in the class. And there is no giant noob case statement from hell. Instead, there is event registry class. Event registry class registers the events to the data transfer objects automatically via the magic called reflection. And this is the constructor. It basically constructs the event based on event name automatically. And that allows us to have this nice, simple logic event registry that create event type, and the JSON. Once we have the event created, we simply publish it in one line right here on the event bus. And the subscribers, which are completely decoupled, listen to the events being thrown via a subscribe annotation. They themselves are being instantiated by a reflection invocation in subscriber registration class, which looks at these packages for any classes that have add subscribe annotated methods, and if it finds one, it registers it on the event bus, and we are listening for, in this case, carrier jump completed event or carrier jump event. So whenever carrier jumps, this file over here, which I don't have open anymore, gets one new line. We pick it up. We get data serialized into this class, bunch of fields, happy days, and then we do something with it. Like we stick it into the database and get all kinds of information from it, stick it in a local database for later analysis, so we can plot routes, do it, or whatever it is that we do. I'll be right back, just a second. Another thing that I've done recently but have not posted yet into the project because I have to test this thing is integration with Elite Dangerous Data Network, or EDDN. What is this thing? It is a queue, kind of like a queue that runs on the internet, and I have these 3 checkboxes now. By default they'll be like this. You have to opt in rather than opt out by default. It sends market data, shipyard data, and outfitting data into the queue. Whenever you land at the station and open up the local market, it reads the local market and sends it into Elite Dangerous Data Network. The Elite Dangerous Data Network It's like a radio broadcast. We can look at what is being broadcasted now. In fact, we will do that in a moment. But sites like INTRA, sites like Sponge, a bunch of other services are listening to this information, and this is how they populate the database from the crowdsourced data. So this is how, when I ask this thing to plot me a trade route, it can connect to Sponge and find out what the latest prices are, what the commodities are, do all the mathematics, and give me a good route. So App now provides a way for players to contribute, but this contribution is voluntarily, and by default it is off. You have to opt in rather than opt out. It uses ZMQ for communication, and if we fire this up, right now it is only sending, but I can where is it? There's my test class. There's my test class. We can check out what kind of data is floating across the network for a little bit. I'm going to just attach to it and snoop. There, each line you see appearing that appears over here in the log. Other players all over the world playing the game and sending info into this data network. Let me stop this and we'll look at one and see what's inside. Like, for example, this oops, select one, please. Okay, one. Scratch. Let's see what this data is all about. So somebody is running Elite Dangerous Market Connector on Windows. This is his ID on the network. And apparently he just discovered star system at these coordinates. Looking at the coordinates, he's very far from Earth. Those are light years. Earth being 0, so he's really far. So that dude is doing exploration. And now the system knows that this star system exists. So for example, if you're plotting a route for your fleet carrier, you need to go from point A to point B. You can plot the route, and the Sponge will know that yes, indeed, this star system exists, and you might have it as one of your one of the legs in your journey on your way from point A to point B. I don't know why anybody would want to send docking. So there's somebody sent some software. Somebody is running. What is it? ED Discovery. Somebody's running ED Discovery software. And it just posted that this dude landed on this station. Or chick. I don't know. Don't want to assume their gender or anywhere in between. I don't know why would you want to send docking information. Maybe there is a good reason for that. I'm just not aware, but there's that. The good things are these. This is the market. This is what we are sending to. But this is the market info. Huge JSON right here. So somebody landed at the station somewhere, and that particular station has all of this commodity. This is the latest prices, what fresh just now. Right now the price is for palladium is 35,000, buying price 38,000, etc, 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 and everything that market has to offer is in here. So this is how community gets the data about markets, and that's how we can plot the profitable routes. Where is it? The station name is Galileo. Station type Pernal. It is in Sol, so he landed right at the home of humanity, the Sol system. Journal entries, FSS scanners. So this is an FSS scan. So somebody is doing discovery. Let's see what that's all about. That That's weird. I haven't seen this sent before. Signal name, multiplayer scenario, blah blah blah. Title. So this, what software is this? A Gmarket connector of Windows, but apparently is running some kind of plug-in to it. This is a very strange thing. But these are resource extraction sites. So how does INTRA know about these wonderful things like extraction sites located in some star system? Well, this is how. Because of the crowdsourcing. Because of this data. So now, if we want to, we can latch onto this data and listen to it and maybe store some of it for like trade route plotting. For example, I haven't decided yet. Trade route plotting is implemented right now, but it just connects to Sponge, says, hey, I'm at these coordinates. I want the trade route with 10 stops. My starting budget is so-and-so. I have so much cargo capacity. Go. And it crunches through the numbers and returns you the tuples of pick up here, deliver over there kind of stuff. Where was I? Yeah, we wanted to go into the star system right here.
Frameshift drive charging.
Hello, somebody joined Discord, I don't know which one. Maybe it's a little dangerous developer Discord, or maybe it's my
Currently
Discord.
in transit to Bastanian, a G-class fuel star. Total traffic amounts to 1,212, with 3 occurring this week. Deaths total 86, with 1 recorded this week.
Let's find a support
Arrived at Bastanian.
and go to the port and see if indeed they offer missions against that same faction. And then I need to figure out how to use this data in a user-friendly format so that you can just say, find me a hunting ground for pirate missions, and it just tells you, right, go over there, pick up the missions against faction in star system so-and-so. And plots the route for you as well. And of course I am missing thing, as usual. When I talk, I don't pay attention to how I fly, because I cannot multitask at all. Let's land here and see. I also probably want to filter out the enemy strongholds from the pirate missions, because I don't think it makes any sense to do pirate massacres in enemy strongholds. Do you get any extra merits for that? Maybe it does make, maybe it's even better. I need to research what happens to the merit system when you pirate hunt an enemy stronghold. Because if there's a benefit to it, maybe we want to prefer that, and if there is no benefit to it, then there is no point of extra risk. Questions, need answers. Which means I'll be poking some devs in the community and see what they say. Don't know everything about the game, even though I have like over 2,000 hours into it.
Landing gear deployed.
I'd really like to know how INTRA finds the other stations that give.
Docking successful.
Market data available.
Maybe they are snooping EDDN and doing their own calculations. Maybe that's how they do that. I wish INTRA would have API to connect to. It would make so many things easier. But but unfortunately they don't do that. They only have API to submit data about your commander, which I don't find very useful because in our pools it's like straight from the game servers anyway. From what I gather. Okay. That is the negative. No. Yes. So yes, some of these factions do in fact provide missions against this Blue Family cartel thingy in the unpronounceable star system name. Quite a few of them. Are these the same factions as in the other place? If they are the same, maybe that's how I can do it. Maybe I can query some other star systems that have these factions present in them. I need to experiment with that and make sure that that is the case. Because if it is, then that's how I'll do it. I'll find the initial from... What is it? I'll find the initial from this data. But it doesn't tell me which faction it is now, does it? I don't think it does. Let me see. I think it only returns numbers, but it does not return function name. Damn. Yep, it does not return faction name. Well, that sucks. Because if this data would return faction name, at least I could query Sponge to find out what other star systems have those factions in them. And then maybe run this query against that star system and see if we have some matches and correlate it. It would be a lot of calls to build this up. I don't know. I need to think about that. But at least the basics, I think the basics can be implemented. Like one star system where you pick up the missions, and the other star system where you go and pew pew pirates at. It will not be a full stack, but it is going to be a stack at least. So it's a start. At least it's a start. It's better than where I was yesterday, without having this thing. All right, so that'll be the project update for today. I will be posting probably the EDDN stuff I'll be posting tonight, but the pirate mission finder thingy will have to be in development for a bit longer because I need to figure shit out. And with that, I am going to sign off. Thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna go eat something, drink a gallon of coffee, and brainstorm on how to proceed with the Pirate Massacre missions. Have a wonderful evening, or morning, or night, and I'll talk to you later sometime. Bye-bye.